Welcome to the Motorcycle Monkey Podcast. This is podcast number 2, and we're just getting things fired up here. Had a bunch of trouble in the room, but that's only because I'm an idiot. But I've got Chuck from Law Tigers in here, longtime buddy. Law Tigers, if you do not know, are motorcycle lawyers who ride, and they're in various parts of the country. Well, here in San Diego, they are really, really good dudes who just really help out motorcyclists when they need them, if you get into an accident, all that stuff. And you're involved with them.
I am. I'm involved with them. You know, if you get injured in a motorcycle accident, a lot of times it's crazy. The rider will get injured, and he worries about his motorcycle. Well, we worry about the person. We're going to take care of them, handle their hospital stay, their motorcycle, all the different things that go on in when you do get involved in an accident.
And by the way, today we're going to talk to Chuck not just about Law Tigers. That's a small part of it. I just love that that's our association, how we became friends.
Yep.
We're actually going to talk a lot about how much riding you do. You've been to Sturgis, I don't know how many times, 2 dozen, 3 dozen?
17 times.
Okay, so 17 times he's been to Sturgis, but in a, well, I think probably 16 out of 17 times in a business capacity for Law Tigers.
Well, the first few times was just for fun, and then after that it was business capacity. Yeah.
So we'll get into that, and I want to know a couple of things. I want to know how many bikes have you owned, because I know you've had a few.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite, and do you have one that you regret selling? We're going to talk about Sturgis.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to also know, we've got to know about Rocky Point.
Oh.
Because you were the reason that I know about this place, but I've never been, and it just pisses me off, but I can't get there every year.
You will have a blast. If you get, it's the 20th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's as much fun as you can legally have in the world. It's old school biker good times, a bunch of bands, a bunch of people.
And this is November.
Yes, in November.
So we're just getting into this right now.
Yeah,
we'll start with that.
Let's go.
So Rocky Point Rally.
Rocky Point Rally, 20th anniversary. They put on a great rally down in Puerto Penasco, Mexico, also known as Rocky Point. And in November, it's you ride on down. It's only 63 miles south of the border. You go in from Y, Arizona, which is just south of Gila Bend.
Right.
And there's a bunch of resorts there. There's a bunch of hotels. It's really great. It's right on the water. It's a shrimp boat fishing village. And the event goes on in a couple places in town, and it's all to benefit the orphanages and the Red Cross.
Oh, wait a second. I never knew there was any kind of charity tied to this. I thought it was just a big reason to go party.
No. There's.
Oh, this makes it even better. Now I have to go.
Oh yeah, it's the Red Cross and the orphanages down there are benefactors in the ride, and then in the event going on. So you can register at RockyPointRally.com. And it's like $25, and it gets you a few freebies and stuff like that. But all that money goes right to a charity. There's
plenty of hotels down there.
Oh my gosh, you guys get on the website, check it out. There's a lot of resorts, and people will rent out their rooms and stuff like that. You can get a full kitchen room, multi-bedroom. It's a beautiful place. They have massages. You can get a real massage right on the beach. Yes, the real. The professional quality massage.
Are you smiling at the end?
Well, you don't get
No, that's not where he's going with that. No,
but and it's one of the only places, inexpensive beer, inexpensive cocktails, the freshest food, the fish is so fresh. Last night it sleep in the ocean. I know that was Italian, but you know.
Is that what one of the guys tells you when you go down there?
Yeah.
Like one of the waiters?
Yeah, our fish is so fresh. Last night it slept in the ocean.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. Fun. So, okay, you've talked about Rocky Point. You told me about Rocky Point Rally probably 5 years ago.
Probably. Yeah.
And I've wanted to go ever since. Maybe it was 6 years. But I have a Hakumba overnighter, which is right close to the same time. Now, I'm married with kids, and I want to stay married. And so my wife doesn't ride with me, so I got to sort of pick and choose. And I really, maybe that's my goal. Maybe next year, not this year, next year is my goal to tell my wife, honey, I'm going to call this the year of ride, where you just got to give me some passes, because she's awesome.
Yeah.
Got to give me some passes.
She's a great person.
This year, I've got the trip in July. We'll talk more about that on the next few podcasts about, Montana and Darby, where they film Yellowstone. Going to try to get close to that. Probably not going to happen. Then there's Glacier National Park and over to my buddy's cabin in La Grande, Oregon, which, by the way, is a great place to rent on Airbnb. It's the High Road Cabins. I love that place. But I'm taking that trip with my kids, but my wife is staying home.
Right.
So back to Rocky Point. I want to get there. I know it's in November. You can go to rockypointrally.com.
Yep.
But you told me once, if you don't ride out there, you might as well not bring the bikes.
Absolutely. If you, the motorcycle will get you around town easier than cars because this is a small town and it gets packed full of motorcycle riders. You don't have to ride to go down there and have a great time. The ride is awesome. From here, you can ride from San Diego. You can ride to Gila Bend, then go straight down, or you can go in at Tecate or Tijuana and take the highway down, which is totally safe and fun and nice and good time. And they want us there. Because of the charities involved, the town wants us there.
Right, but I think the reason you said this was, if you don't ride down there, you might as well not bring the bikes, because once you get there, you're just partying.
Yeah, you're just partying, having a good time. There's plenty of bands. There's plenty of things to see, great restaurants. You can walk around town. You can get around town walking, pretty simple. So if you're not going to ride down there, just come on down. You won't need your bike once you get there.
I want to go to this so badly. And now that I know there's a charity tied in, so we're going to have to talk about that maybe next year, because you got to get me there. I got to get me there. Why you? You don't have to get me there.
Well, it's so much fun. I mean, it really is.
Well, I want to go with you, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, come with me. Yep,
you're seasoned, you know it.
I do know it. And out of all the rides, I've been to a bunch of them. Okay, I've been to Laconia, I've been to Daytona, I've been to Myrtle Beach, I've been to.
I was just going to ask you, what is your favorite? Do you have one?
Rocky Point Rally.
Is it really?
Is my favorite.
Over Sturgis and all these things.
Sturgis for work is great, but you stand in a 20 by 20 foot square and that's all you get. Sturgis is a beautiful place to see America and Americana, and the people of that. And this one is just, it's small. It's still quaint. It's still, everybody's your friend. You can high five everybody. And
you're still working this though, right?
I've worked it.
But this must be more like once you set up all the banners for Law Tigers in your canopy, because it's so central in one place, not so much riding once you get there, that you're able to party like everybody else and still do your job.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's the difference between that and Sturgis or a Laconia or a whatever.
Right, anywhere else. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the only reason. But if I go as just a spectator, a rider, and I'm not working,
you'll have a blast.
Okay, I know Rocky Point. But then now let's talk about, Sturgis, because you've been there a bunch of times working, and I want to know about that.
Yeah.
But if I'm just a rider, and I've been twice, and I love Sturgis. It's a hell of a trip to get there, though. It really is. Now I understand why there's a 2 broke for Sturgis run.
Yeah.
Before I went, I never understood it. Like, really, 2 broke? Go sleep in a tent. No, there's more than that. It's like 1,100 or 1,400 miles each way from San Diego, wherever you're coming from, I don't know. And and it's not cheap to even camp there.
Nope.
They do have good deals, and actually we'll talk about that probably on a podcast or two coming up, because Sturgis is getting closer. I know where some good deals are. I know you do too. But right now, though, for you as a rider, not an employee, not a regional director of Law Tigers, if you were just to pick Sturgis for that, what is your thought?
Oh, then it can't be beat. Sturgis for ride. Not the city of Sturgis. Sturgis is great. You got to go down Main Street in LaSalle at least one time.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go back and forth for the craziness. The rides there, riding to Mount Rushmore, riding to the Badlands,
Needles and Iron Mountain.
Oh, Needles and Iron Mountain.
The caves.
Or
the tunnels, I should say. Tunnels,
right. And just how the roads are. Spearfish Canyon. Oh.
Now this is so weird for me. The first time
I
went,
just thinking about it.
I did too, dude.
Tingles.
I did too.
It's just one of those things. Somebody says Spearfish Canyon, and
Yep.
If you've never been there, you don't get the tingles. But I mean, I really got goosebumps. When you've ridden it.
So the first time that I went, 2015, we did the order of camping Buffalo Chip the first time. We did Spearfish the next day. The very next day, we did Iron Mountain Needles to Rushmore and back. The tunnels and all the lush green forest that you're riding through. Yep. And then we headed out of there to go back home because we wanted to go over Beartooth Pass and Yellowstone.
Right.
That's another story. But I will tell you, the first year I went in 2015, my favorite was by far Iron Mountain and Needles to Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
However, when I went in 2019, I'm not so sure. Spearfish is that good, to your point. It's so good. The little waterfall that's halfway through the ride.
Yes.
It's this canyon. Oh, and Deadwood. If you ride the right direction, you start in Deadwood.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's bitchin'.
Deadwood, the town of Deadwood is a Wild West town that's, it's modernized. There's toilets and all that kind of stuff. But it is, who passed away? Who got killed there? I can't remember.
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah, aces and eights, man.
Yep.
In the number 10 saloon, which by the way is still there.
Still there, still open.
And what you do is when you go in the top, I had a beer there just because I had to say I had a beer in the number 10 saloon. Now, it's been rebuilt, I think, twice. But that is still on the same street. But back in the day where Wild Bill was shot, it's down the stairs in the number 10 Saloon, where they have two rock walls.
Yep.
And those two rock walls are the actual walls from back in the day. Those never changed. They made it through the fires, and that's what they point out. And they show you where the table was sitting, what happened when Wild Bill was shot, how he was shot. So that's really kind of cool. Now, you do pay the $10 to get downstairs to see that. The first year I didn't do it. I was just going to say, in 2019, I did. It was worth every penny.
Yeah, absolutely. The history of it is super cool. The town is awesome. And that town really turns up for the event too.
Yeah.
They put out a lot of stuff and they have a great time. And it's hard to explain if you haven't been. The Sturgis is just, it's such a hub and it's got so much going for it. The roads are beautifully manicured. Everything's perfect. Wild deer and all that stuff.
You leave the campground and you're on a ride. Like out here, I love San Diego.
I do too.
But you and I have talked about this.
Yes.
If you're going on a ride, you're not really on your ride until you get to the east end of Santee going up the 67 or out the 8 once you get past Lakeside. Then you're on the ride when you get on the roads. But out there, you literally, I could put my foot out left about 2 feet out of a driveway and you're on your ride because it's so beautiful.
Even up just saying north of town at the campsite just north of town. You as soon as you get out, you go left or right, and both those are rides.
Which is another thing. In 2019, when I went there, another great campground is the Dragpipe Saloon. You're the one who actually turned me on to that. And I got to know the guys who were in a lawsuit with a third partner. And they finally won the lawsuit. They were given the right to continue the campground. Thank God the court ordered. And it's directly across, by the way, from Full Throttle Saloon, the new one. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. If you stay, whether it's at Full Throttle or Dragpipe, now Dragpipe's way more rustic. Like it's, you know, the grass, you're riding over the dirt, you know, and you're getting to your site and all that, which is still awesome. But to go over to Full Throttle Saloon and see some of the bands they have out front, you can pay to get in the back if you want to, but even the front's worth it. It reminds me what they've done with it of an industrial, sort of an industrial shop, huge, with meets Mad Max.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
The neon, it's bitching, dude.
Hot rods hanging from the ceiling and the motorcycles in the bar. And if you notice, if you ever go there, please go. The whole place is made of metal. Where they stamp out all the designs, that leftover metal, that's how they made the walls. The outside of it looks like a prefab shed, a humongous prefab shed.
But it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. It's nice. And blacktop right in a big parking lot. And inside, there's humongous lathes and all this metal work, and it's just, and you sit, the bar stools are crankshafts, and then
of course the girls don't hurt.
It does, you know. Eye candy is definitely a plentiful at.
Well, aren't we eye candy as well? Depending on how much beer you've had.
Yeah, right. We are the 2 o'clock at night.
Right, we're the 12 pack and beyond. But you know, that's the thing. So that's part of it. Full Throttle Saloon. You've got Dragpipe Saloon. Buffalo Chip, I'm going to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I think you have to stay there once. I do. I would do it again under the right circumstances. I would go more budget probably the next time I go, which I'm hoping to go either this year or next. But it is possible, I don't know, that Jesse James Dupree is trying to put something together to get me there through KGB, the radio station that I work for, and I'm hoping that happens.
That'd be nice.
Either way, it is an adventure. You really have to plan it. And between Chuck and my buddy Ryan, we're going to talk about things on the next couple episodes of what you should prep to go to Sturgis, because trust me, you can pack too much like Ryan did, and then you can pack not enough like I did. So got to go in between, and you probably know it very well because you've been there more than any of us.
Yeah, and it's part of it is the right preparation of yourself and your motorcycle, understanding the cost of what it costs to do Sturgis and have a great time. It's one of those kind of things where maybe somebody that's been there a bunch of times can help you out, and I'm sure there's plenty of websites or stuff like that for it as well. But going to Sturgis is a pilgrimage that every motorcycle rider should make in the United States, and even around the world. People come from everywhere in the world.
Oh, I met some guys from South Africa in 2015. It was great. I mean, it's a really fun trip, but it really is a task. You need to. I don't personally think, even if you rode your motorcycle and slept on the side of the road, I think by the time you get there and back, and if you didn't pay for any camping, which would be very hard, by the way, because there's not a lot of space out there that you're not going to have to pay for, I personally think you should count on, for yourself alone, if you're riding, $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you're driving, like I did, I admit I took a toy hauler. I just, I wanted to be able to ride when I got there. My dad went with me, that whole thing, and my buddy Rudy. We split the gas, and we did all that. We stayed at Buffalo Chip the first year. I think I was $1,500.
Yeah.
You know,
You can do it on a budget.
You
the
can.
first time I ever went on a Sportster from California, from Monterey, California, I did it with a bedroll, with my tent and bedroll, and slept in somebody's backyard for $35.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do get there in the town before you make that right to go out to the campgrounds, right
Yes.
there in downtown Sturgis, and there are tents on some of those lawns right there that people are paying for.
Right, absolutely.
To be in the, but I wouldn't want to be in the action the entire time.
Yeah.
It's I'm good with, like, if you want action, you stay at Buffalo Chip, and you're still gonna, but you ask about certain areas of the campground.
Correct.
Because that's what I did. I said, look, you're giving me two choices here, because I called him on the phone. I was looking online. It got a little confusing to me because it's a huge map. You can do that, but I wanted to know, where do you suggest staying if I want to be in the action during the day and I want to have a little bit of quiet at night? And so she gave me two choices. One was sort of as you enter, maybe about a couple hundred yards into your left. She goes, that's a good place. She goes, or I could put you in the back. You go down a couple of dips there, and you're way back where the trailers are, and that's going to still give you a little action, but you're going to get sleep at night. I said, let's take that one.
Right.
Because you can go find the action,
Right.
during the day.
You don't want to be around it when you're trying to sleep. And 50,000 people show up for a concert. I mean, it's...
I remember Def Leppard, dude.
There's flat track racing there. There's drag racing there. There's machine gun. You can fire machine guns
Bike
into the mountain
jumping.
right there. There's axe throwing. You can get a haircut there. I mean, if you went there with a pocket full of money, and a pair of shorts and flip flops, no motorcycle, you could get everything you need.
Oh yeah,
just money.
Yeah.
And there's cabins everywhere. There's small cabins you can rent. And
it's a massive campground. So that's one way you can go. Again, did that in 2015. Then 2019, Dragpipe Saloon, like we were talking about, across from Full Throttle, 7 miles off of the strip going into downtown Sturgis. I think if I went again, and between those two choices, I would probably do Dragpipe.
Yeah.
Because it was a little less expensive, and it was and the guys are so nice. You get to know the owners. They're there hanging out with you.
They run the bar.
It's a little barn that's got a bar, and there's some picnic tables,
so cool. It's
live
really
music,
yeah. And a couple of little food truck restaurant type, that barbecue guy and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Well, and then you can run across the street
and
go to Full Throttle for the full, experience of this badass place, or stay there, whatever.
Right.
So
Pappy Hoyle Campgrounds.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
Okay, yeah, that's the Pappy Hoyle Campgrounds at Full Throttle Saloon. So
yes, that's
and they
right.
have the cabins in the back, and they have tents in the front, and places for RV trailers, and they have a humongous general store there, and all that stuff. So you could actually go to Sturgis if you wanted to go to one place and stay at one place with one bar with a bunch of entertainment. You could go to Full Throttle Saloon and Pappy Hoyle Campgrounds.
You could.
And the same thing
Buffalo
Chip.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other smaller places you can do the same thing too.
I loved it all. I haven't experienced anything that I didn't enjoy yet. I will say, though, and again, totally recommending going to Buffalo Chip. If you've never been, you got to experience that, or Full Throttle, or pick one year, one the next. But I will say, when my buddy Rudy and I, we went out to my buddy Mark from Oregon. He met us there. He rode 1,000 miles in less than 24 hours. He did an iron butt both ways unintentionally.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's a hard charger, dude.
Yeah, Mark's cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. So, but the one with the cabins I was talking about. But anyway, he with the three of us went into town on a shuttle, and we went probably 3-4 hours. And by the way, I have a One-Eyed Jacks video that all I did was use my phone, nothing fancy, and it's got I think it's 300,000 hits or more. Maybe it's there now. I'm not sure, but it's because I pretty much highlighted all of the naval shots in the bar and all that with the girls' permission, all that. It's a very short video. But One-Eyed Jacks is a must-do downtown to experience the party.
Yep.
We went there. We went to a couple of other ones. But then we came back on the shuttle just in time to catch the second half of Def Leppard.
Wow.
And we walked in there. The sound was awesome. The crowd was awesome.
The way the mountain is sloped, so every place you stand or sit, you can see the stage.
Yeah, above, yes.
Yeah.
And above the, I'd call it arena or stadium area, because they close it off, because, there's beer and all that. Then you can still see some of the scene behind you, behind that.
Yep.
But we got there late enough that we stayed for about 5 or 6 songs, which was cool, because I can still say I saw Def Leppard and loved it, but we were also standing and walked a hell of a long way to get there across the campground, because we didn't know exactly where it was at. Thing that did it for me, though, by the time we got there, man, that place smelled like a toilet. I mean, the outhouse. I mean, we're in the dirt, and that's what it's about. It's awesome, but not smelling like an outhouse, dude. I was over there, and I'm like, whoo!
Yeah, they probably have 300 outhouses just for the stadium of that area.
Yeah.
And they could probably use another 1,500.
Yeah, I think they were full.
Yeah.
But still, again, I'm not knocking it. You got to experience it.
I went and saw a concert there in the rain.
Yes,
and it reminded me of the films I see of Woodstock, of people mudsliding and
right.
And back before in earlier days, you could ride your motorcycle into that stadium area.
Wish we still could.
And you could park your bike and leave and walk around. Your bike would sit there, but it takes up a lot of room.
Too crowded, yeah.
And safety issues and all that. You know, we're so safety conscious nowadays.
We got to be, I guess. But
yeah, you used to be able to do that and leave your bike in there and run around. But yeah, it was like Woodstock-ish. I don't know.
So to that point, you can also get campground passes. You kind of have you need those, otherwise you're not going to want to just stay at the place and just drive in and out. You actually have to have the campground passes.
Yeah.
So Sturgis, you would say, of all the rallies, if you are not working for Law Tigers, if you're just going there as a rider, you would say that's number one?
Yes, I would say it's number one. I mean, it's got everything. There's every style of riding. There's, you can go out to Devil's Tower. You can go to, there's just so many places.
Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
We're both sitting there saying
I
the
knew
same
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Crazy Horse. You go to Crazy Horse, you get some history. You get how big and huge and the setup there that they have is wonderful education. It's just a great time.
I said I was going to talk about the next podcast about the Beartooth Pass with Yellowstone, but you know what? I got to talk about it here because we've pretty dived in there. Or dove, whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Dove, yeah.
I'm not the smartest guy, but whatever. We got to talk about that because 300 something miles out of Sturgis is Wyoming, Montana. And we wanted to go in 2015, we did it again in 2019, to go see Yellowstone National Park, which, by the way, is a must-do. I don't care what it takes to get there. If you have to carve a couple of days off your Sturgis trip, you need to go see Yellowstone for two reasons. One, the beauty with the animals and the buffalo that walk right by you. And I'm not going to guarantee it. You can't do that. But I will tell you, both times I went, I was as close to me and you riding by a buffalo. And it's intimidating.
I've done the same thing at Needles Highway.
Oh yeah. Okay. So and then there's Custer National Park back in Sturgis, but for that one, for me, it was a little more mellow, and you could see it, and there is history if you're into that. But of the two, you got to get over to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Well, we went to a KOA campground in Cody, Wyoming, and we're checking in at 1:30 in the afternoon. And Rudy and I were a little bit tired, but we're like, we can't just stay here and not go ride Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So we went in to check in to the campground, which, by the way, at that time was only $29 to dry camp. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Because we had a generator. Who cares? Yeah. And as I'm standing there talking to the woman checking in, I said, Miss, do you think, in your opinion, that if we rode to Yellowstone and through Yellowstone and came back, even just part of it, that we'd be back by dark? Because, when you ride through those mountains with the grizzly bear and all that stuff, before she opened her mouth, there's a cowboy, and I mean a real cowboy. Yep, standing about as close to you as I am. And I didn't see him, though. He had his hat on and everything. Right. He's right next to this rack where I couldn't see him. And he goes, excuse me. Oh, yes, sir. He says, you mind if I butt in here for just a minute? I said, well, not at all. He goes, all right, give me that map. He goes, here's what you're going to do. He goes, you can go ahead and do Yellowstone tomorrow. He goes, today what you're going to do, you're going to go up Dead Indian Trail, Chief Joseph Pass on the Beartooth down into Red Lodge, Montana, come back through the mountains there. He goes, if you leave now, you get back before dark. He goes, and trust me, you don't want to ride through them mountains at dark. He goes, there's elk, there's deer, there's grizzly bears that come out on those roads. And he goes, I'm not kidding you. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, and besides that, he goes, even if that weren't the case, he goes, I guarantee you're going to go to Yellowstone tomorrow after doing Beartooth today. He says, and you're going to like Beartooth more than you are Yellowstone. It's that awesome. And I said, well, he didn't say awesome. He just said, it's that incredible. Yeah, exactly. And I said, all right, that's what we'll do. So we did. And let me tell you, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's that much better than Yellowstone, but if I had to pick for a human being to ride one direction or the other, you have to do Beartooth into Red Lodge, Montana from Cody, because it's 10,995 feet up at the peak. You're looking over snow-capped valley and mountains while your road is dry.
Yeah. And
it's not even that cold.
Right.
And you have the top of the world store before you get up to that point. That the gas pumps, you pump your gas and it still goes ba-ding, 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 and then you pay them when you're done.
Yeah.
It's that kind of place.
Yeah.
And it's just bitching. We get into Yellowstone the next morning after going into Red Lodge. We went to Red Lodge Ales, had a great time with 3 guys we didn't even know. We stayed in a room with a guy that calls himself Blade. Really good guy, Rick. We met him on the Wyoming-Montana border on Beartooth. And we thought, it's getting too late. We got to stay in Red Lodge because we don't want to go back at the night. We took our time getting up there. So he overhears us and says, hey, I don't mean to butt in here, but, do you mind if let's talk about a room here? Because I don't want to pay for a room by myself. I came out from Arizona. I've been out for about 2-3 weeks. I want to save a little money. And we thought, well, he seems normal. So we said yes. It was the best part of the adventure. Yeah. He's packing. He's got a gun. He puts it on the cot. And he says, by the way, you're the youngest of the 3 looking at me. He goes, so you're getting the cot. All right, cool, whatever. Yeah. It was great. So we stayed the night unexpected. We went into Yellowstone. But when we got to Yellowstone, right before we went in, I think the town is Keystone. And if it's not, it's the one that's just about a mile or 2 outside of Yellowstone, just east, out the east exit. Okay. But that's the way we went in from Beartooth. And I'll remember the cowboy who warned us the night before. Yeah. This couple gets off the bike, don't even know them. The husband, once he gets off the bike and his wife steps off, he looks right at me, doesn't know me, and he goes, dude, did you hear about 6 o'clock last night? The guy who came around the corner and crunched into a grizzly bear, broke his ribs, totaled his bike. He's okay, but the bear, no problem, just ran off. And I'm like, last night. Now, I can't say that would have been us at that time.
I know, but you never know.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like a God thing.
You could have met a grizzly bear.
Well, I want to meet a grizzly bear, just not that close.
Oh, through a fence.
Yeah, or just riding by, and maybe it's over there just kind of roar. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not a Disneyland adventure, buddy. Those bears are real.
Right. Have you been to Yellowstone?
Yes.
Okay. Have you done Beartooth?
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely correct. For a ride, it is about as beautiful. You know that God has touched the earth when you ride through there.
That's what my buddy Mark said. When he didn't go with us in 2015. He rode back the 1,000 miles. So I told him in 2019, you're meeting us again. Only this year, you will not leave until you go and do that route with us, because it'll be the best ride you've ever ridden. Yeah. And he actually, I looked at him, and we were at the peak, and I said to him, hey, did I oversell it? And he looks at me, he goes, you undersold it. He goes, you couldn't oversell this. He goes, this is as close to God until I die that I'm ever going to be. And he said what you said. He reached down and touched this area. Yeah. So you got to do that. And I think it's 65 or 68 miles from the start to the finish, or actually Yellowstone over, but it's probably a little more if you come from Cody. Maybe it's 80, 90.
Maybe.
Worth it. So worth it.
So worth it. And that's it. That's the part about motorcycle riding that we love, is that we can share these things. And in the motorcycle community, the adventure part of it is finding that guy from Arizona. Or breaking down on the side of the road, or running out of gas or something like that, and just how tight the motorcycle riding community is. And that's everywhere that I've ever been. I lived in Germany for years, and it's the same thing over there as here. And it's in a car, it's not the same.
It's still incredible.
It's incredible,
but not the same.
Yeah. Being able to look around in the sky and everything, and feel the wind and the crispness of the air, and it's special.
So next time we get together, and I'll try to get Ryan on the next one too. Yeah. It might be 3 or 4 podcasts from now, because again, Sturgis is coming up. We want to give you plenty of time if you have interest. Let's talk about what you would and wouldn't pack, mistakes we've made, and how to fix those issues on the next time that you come on. How's that?
Okay, that sounds cool.
But I got to get to this.
Yeah.
We got to talk about how many bikes have you owned? What's your favorite one? And do you regret selling one or two of them? Do you have a regret?
Oh, I have a regret for sure.
One?
No, there's many.
Oh, wow.
But, well, if I could, if I had every bike.
We'd keep them all.
If I would have, but I would need a big place. I've been through a lot of motorcycles.
Would you say 10 or 12?
20 or 30.
Oh, wow. See, I get attached. I still have my 2000 Road King Classic, and I love that bike. I'm not going to.
My thing is because of space and a few other things that happen, money and stuff. But one of my ones I truly regret selling was my Ascot 500, Honda Ascot 500.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize what Ascot was at the time. And that became part of it, became a big deal after. And so I wish I still had that motorcycle. Out of all of them, I've really probably had over 20 motorcycles in my life.
So is the Ascot your favorite, or is it just the one you regret selling the most?
I totally regret selling that one the most.
Okay.
My favorite motorcycle is, God,
Got to think about this one.
I really do, man. It's one because
Well, I love the Road Glide you have right now.
I love my Road Glide. I love my 2017 Road Glide, but there's a bazillion of them, and it's like something special to me. Like that I really. There's a couple bikes that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my '91 Springer Softail. I still have the bike. I still love getting on it every single time I ride it. My girl Debbie rides on the back with me, and it's got a family connection, and I love that bike. It's just
family connection. What, like from your dad or something?
uncle.
Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie's uncle.
Did he will it to you, sell it to you?
Well, I got it after he passed away.
Oh, see, that is special.
And so, but every time I get on that bike, it's a great bike. It rides great. It's wonderful, and it's
not bulky, easy to ride.
No, yeah, it's simple. So
Yeah.
There's no bags, nothing on it. You got to carry it on your back if you're going to carry anything. And I just love that bike. That bike, and then another one of my bikes. It's really stupid, but it's one I've had really early on. Was my Honda Rebel 250.
Dude, I regret selling my Honda V45 Magnum on 1983.
Yeah,
I regret it.
I had an late 80s Honda Rebel that, to me, I loaned it out. I probably loaned it out 60 or 70 times because I loaned it out to people that were taking a motorcycle test. And nobody wants to do it on a big bike or what they're actually going to ride. And so I'd loan out my 250 so people could pass their motorcycle tests.
I borrowed from Andy McDonald, 8-time world champion skater. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Friend of mine. He offered for me, because I tried it on my Harley at first in the El Cajon DMV, and there's a circle that you have to do that is so gosh damn hard to go in and out of the cones in a circle. And if you touch your foot once to the ground, even a tap, you're out.
Right.
So I tried it once. I got pissed because that's the only mistake I made. I tapped my foot one time.
Yep.
That's 750 whatever pound bike. You're just trying to maneuver it super slow around the cones, around the circle, and it is tight. So I tell Andy how frustrated I am. This is years ago. And he says, well, dude, if you want, borrow my scooter. It's like a Lambretta or something. It's got the motor on the side of it. It probably doesn't weigh, but what, 250 pounds maybe? Maybe?
Yeah.
And dude, it's probably less than that.
Yeah.
It's got the signals. It's got the brakes, the lights and everything, and it is freeway legal.
Yeah.
So it gets up to about 70, 80 miles an hour. Because of that, it's legal to take the test on.
Yep.
I go to the El Cajon DMV, but what we do is my dad actually drives in his beat-up Datsun pickup truck. I said, Dad, we need to go. Help me take this thing out of the truck. So we get there. I just want to get my license. I just want to ride.
Right.
So we pull the thing out of the truck, and it's so light that we literally set it on the ground.
Yep.
He goes over to stand by where they give you the test, and he's waiting for me to put my helmet on and everything. I got an appointment, and I show up. I look like Grape Ape on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Big fat guy. So I pull up, and I stop, and this woman runs out, and she goes, no, you cannot take your, because she knew I was there for that appointment. She's got it down.
Yeah.
She goes, you cannot take your test on that. I said, ma'am, respectfully, yes, I can. No, you cannot. I said, ma'am, it's got brake lights. It's freeway legal. It's got gears. It's got everything that you need for an M1 license. And she goes, no. And this guy runs out behind her, goes, oh, hold on. He goes, I can see you two are having a discussion. He goes, what is the problem? And she goes, he cannot take this test. He cannot. He goes, hold on. He said, show me everything. I showed him everything. The brake lights, everything was working, everything. And it had gears. And he goes, he is absolutely allowed to take the test on this, and it is an M1. And she goes, well, fine. So here I was, and I look over as I fire up the motor again to take it, and she's got this look of just disdain on her face. And my dad is over with about 10 to 15 people waiting for their appointments or the people that are out taking drive tests because it's right in front of the building. They are laughing out loud at me.
Oh, they're probably losing.
Big old cannonball helmet on,
Yeah.
the open face, but it's still the big one.
Yeah.
I look like a bowling ball, a fat bowling ball on this thing. And I'm, and then I just, and I pass it, no problem. How could you not?
If you didn't pass on that, you have a problem.
I shouldn't be riding.
Right.
So as soon as we're done, I'm thinking about how hard they're all laughing. They're pointing fingers. And even my dad was involved in that, which is great. Whatever. Yeah. But she goes, okay, fine, but I just don't think it was fair. You passed. I was like, I don't care how pissed you are at me. I got my gosh damn motorcycle license.
I'm not going to ride next to you.
Right.
That's funny.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that's hilarious.
I don't even know how we got on that subject.
Who knows?
Oh, because you said that your Rebel people would borrow to take the test.
My favorite that I missed out. And I've had so many bikes. Now, it'd be better to ask what my next bike will be or want it to be. And I've been a Harley and Honda guy for a long time, and I've loved both those models. And I have, after riding the Indian Challenger, oh my gosh, that is a bike, buddy.
I agree. The suspension it's a performance bagger.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. So that if I go to another bagger, I mean another motorcycle, which I will have another motorcycle in my life, it would probably be the Indian Challenger.
Would it?
Yeah.
It's tough for me because I'm that guy, probably like most guys and gals, that if you ride, you want all the bikes you can get.
Right.
I only have one right now. It's like I said, it's a 2000 Road King Classic, the Harley Davidson. I love it to tears. I know there's a lot more technology and smoother rides out there, but it's still good for distance.
Absolutely.
But I would say a road glide, a street glide for distance, or the Challenger. One of those three. Even the Chieftain would be good. It's all in that category. But for me, I got to tell you, dude, and we'll get more into this later.
I know where you're going to go. I think I know where you're going. Keep going.
The Pan America?
Yeah, the Pan America. You know what else? The bike that you rode that I really wanted, I should have taken a ride on, was that new Goldwing.
Oh my God. Okay, yes. Hold on. Let me back that up.
There you go.
Let me back that up. It would be right in the category with the Challenger. It'd be tough to pick.
Yeah.
I'm a Harley guy. I love Harley. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they're great bikes, but it is also the name Harley.
Right.
I'm one of those guys that admits it. How many Honda tattoos do you see on an arm? But you see Harley, there's something behind it.
Yep.
However, that Honda Goldwing, 7-speed, 1800 cc's, it has reverse, automatic if you choose to, or you can use the paddle shifter, and automatic, and reverse. It was, I got to put that up there with the Challenger. I really do. That was pretty amazing.
Those things are smooth as glass.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about it. Yeah. And of course, if you don't know, if you haven't watched this, I do review motorcycles on Motorcycle Monkey. If you want to see those, and if you have one that you want to see me review, I'll do my best to get it. The latest one was the Aprilia.
I think that was a cool bike. But
660.
Honda Motorcycle Corporation. Clint August needs to do a review of the Honda Monkey.
Yes, I do.
The little 150 Monkey. He needs 2 weeks of Motorcycle Monkey, of Clint August riding that monkey.
That's right. Thank you for that plug.
Little plug there.
Or
Come
plea.
on, Honda.
Yeah, whatever we would call it.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so real quick now, we'll talk about how to pack for Sturgis on the next one that you come back on, maybe a couple from now or whatever. And then I really appreciate you coming on, Chuck. One thing I do want to say is that if you ever need the Law Tigers, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or lawtigers.com. Chuck in this community, there are certain things that he would be required to do through Law Tigers because Law Tigers wants to be very involved, and they are phenomenal. But I'm going to give you credit because I know about a third of those events that you do because you want to be involved in the charitable aspect, not even for your job. Yeah. So this is the kind of guy that we're talking to today, and I really appreciate that. That's, yes, I met him through Law Tigers. But we've become good buddies. We've ridden together. We'll ride some more, God willing.
Yeah.
And they also sponsor the podcast, just to be open about it. That's why you see this.
Yeah.
You see this all the time. And I just appreciate it, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I've had a good time. I've watched the boys grow up the last 10 years.
Yeah, wow.
And Christy, the angel.
Too good for me.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you married way up.
Oh yeah.
And
other side of the tracks.
Yeah. And so the thing is, it started off as a May ride type of thing, and we became good friends, and we ride together. It's like, hey, you want to go somewhere, go for a ride, or we want to go do something, and that's really neat, and it's special. To me, it is. It's very special.
Me too. And I love that we met. We were forced to meet through business,
right?
Because Angel, who used to have your position, I was so bummed when she was going away, but I didn't know you yet.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, no one's going to be as good as her. And I'm like, after about a year or two of you, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, dude. I don't know how someone does better at what you do than you. And I'm saying that just in case Law Tiger sees this. This dude, no, I'm serious. You are valuable. If I were rich and had a company and I needed someone to market and be a part of it and it were motorcycle driven, Law Tigers, I'd steal him. I'd steal him, whatever it took. So, but the thing about it is when you came on, I was like, before I met you, like, gosh damn it, Angel's gone. What am I going to do? Who's this new dude, Chuck? Right. I don't know who the hell he is. Yeah. But right away, man, we hit it off. You wanted to sponsor Mayride. You wanted to know about all the events that you didn't already know about.
Right.
And I only knew, I think, a few compared to you. I mean, I've been in the motorcycle community a long time, but you learned, through riding so many years earlier that you already knew about, 90% of them.
Yeah, I knew a lot of them.
So here comes Mayride, and you're on board from day one. You guys have become bigger and bigger sponsors of that, and that's for the troops and their families through the Armed Services YMCA, every branch of the military. So that's another thing coming up in May 15th, if you're local or you even want to fly out. It's going to start and finish at Biggs Harley-Davidson in San Marcos. Another great business.
Please come to that.
Yeah, it is all for our heroes and their families. But again, man, I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate what you guys do with Law Tigers. They have 24/7 a line that you can call, and they'll set you up with an attorney if you need that attorney for a free consultation and to learn about what they can do for you and tell them, your story. And I'm going to say it. You've said it. I hope you never need them because that means you didn't get in an accident. But if you do, they're here.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I wish nobody ever needed it. And that goes back to, I think we talked about yesterday or even earlier today about the need for education in the drivers, when people are getting their driver's license, young kids these days, about motorcycle awareness. And we're one of the only countries that do not advocate motorcycle awareness in the training of to get your driver's license, your car driver's license. So it's sad and it's unfortunate, but we're there for you. And can I do this real quick? If I can't, he'll just edit it.
I don't edit. Let's do it.
Remember the old days when we used to do slug bug?
Yes,
okay,
dude.
See a
Volkswagen go by you?
Yeah.
Whap!
Okay. Now do the same thing, but I don't advocate anybody hitting each other. But
you do, but that's okay.
Yeah, counting motorcycles.
Oh, God,
Get your kids to count motorcycles. If your kid's in the back, who can count the most motorcycles? And you guys start playing the game of counting motorcycles, it will raise their awareness of motorcycles way before they start doing a driver's test.
The big brain on this, dude. At first I'm going, no, legally we have to say, no, you don't hit each other. Yeah. But slug bug, instead slug bike.
Yeah,
I
slug
guess.
Bike, whatever, I would call them.
That's brilliant, dude.
Yeah. So, if we would just get our kids into the habit, because even nowadays, I can see a Volkswagen from a mile away because it's just something I've done forever.
And if parents, by the way, if you're thinking, no, don't slug anyway, fine. Here's what we'll say then. You can just poke. Just a light little poke. Yeah, that's all.
Motorcycle poke.
Chuck's family, they're going to slug each other.
They're going to slug. Yeah,
His kid, they're going to slug each other.
Yeah.
You got maybe yours is just, or it's a slap. Whatever works. That's the alarm. We got to stop, man.
Yeah, we got to go. But that was my final little thing. If we can just raise awareness so people can know that motorcycles are on the road and we share the road with you.
Absolutely. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS and LawTigers.com. And please subscribe to Motorcycle Monkey channel on YouTube. Share it with your friends. Click the bell icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. That'll notify you when new videos are up. Let people know about the podcast, too. And if there's a subject you want us to cover, let me know. And if you have ever served this country, past, present, men, women, every branch, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And God bless you and your families for your tremendous sacrifice. Ride safely. We'll see you on the next one.